And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, you know I love Dice Masters, so I'm always excited when a new set comes out. Here we have Iron Man and War Machine. As you know, the ultimate duo couple, except when they're fighting Vision and Hawkeye. Well, whatever. Either way, Iron Man and War Machine. This is kind of a cool concept because I like this. This is essentially a starter deck that came out and there's no booster packs for it. So you can get this. Now, this isn't everything you need. Each of the characters in this set can have a total of 4 dice. So if you really want to do well with this one, you're going to have to buy an extra set of it to have 4 dice for each. But you don't need to, and you can buy this and you know what cards you're going to get. I just feel slightly wasteful if you buy the second set. You essentially take all those cards and you might as well throw them away because you can't use them for anything else. But anyhow, this is based on Iron Man and War Machine, and I mean really based on them. Let me show you. Okay, so of course we always look at the dice first. The dice here are pretty good. There's nothing really spectacular about them. I'd say probably of these different dice, I don't know, I like the clear red ones here. Those are for, who are those for again? That's the Iron Maynard dice. The rest of the dice are pretty much standard dice. Let's take a look at the cards. So we see that we have allies. Allies have been introduced for a while. And we have Howard Stark, which this kind of ally always makes me think we've reached the bottom of the barrel. Howard Stark's not even in the comics very much, always as a kind of a backstory type thing. So having him here is just kind of odd. This guy is interesting because he can't be targeted by global abilities. And this guy can sacrifice to give someone else +2 attack. This person can give someone Iron Will. Now, Iron Will is one of the more complex special abilities. If someone has Iron Will, they can't be KO'd unless they were previously damaged on a turn. So you have to damage them like with another special ability, and then take them out. And there's a rules card that comes with this set, and you can see how big the Iron Will section is. It's an okay ability. I don't mind it. It helps the people who do 1 damage to someone. It makes them more powerful, those folk. But I don't know. It's my least favorite special ability so far. Hey, Jarvis is here. Now, Jarvis is also an ally, and you'll notice that he has a 3, a 4, and a 5 ability. His 5 one I like, because when you field that, you get life equal to the number of character dice you field on that turn, including him. So you're always going to get 1 life every time you field him. But if you field him along with a couple sidekicks, you could get a lot of life back with him, and that's pretty cool. Rescue is the only character in this set that has no text on her, on one of her cards anyway. But she has Suit Up. Now, Suit Up's kind of an unusual ability, and this is one I like, although it's kind of specific. And Suit Up basically means if you have Pepper Potts or Rescue out there, you can take their die off. So you can take another one of her dice off, and then you can put out the highest level of this character out. So Rescue, you'd put out the high level 1, 4, 3. So her 4 ability also has a Suit Up and has a chance to roll other dice for each die that you roll that has an energy phase. And there's a lot of these Suit Up cards in the game. Here's one for Iron Spider. Spider-Man can turn into Iron Spider or another Iron Spider. It seems like all the Suit Up cards allow you to use the same thing. But you know, Iron Spider is a version of Spider-Man from Civil War. He was given a special suit by Iron Man. And here, when he's fielded, it does 2 damage to target character die for each one. And this set is a little bit more insular than many of the sets because you have this Spider-Man and War Machine / Iron Man characters. Speaking of War Machine, this is probably my favorite character from the set because he's fast, which means he attacks your opponent and does his damage before they do damage back. And Suit Up Iron Man, so you could have Iron Man turn into War Machine. I don't know, that just cracks me up. Here's another Iron Man can turn into Space Armor Iron Man. Hulkbuster Iron Man. Oh, Hulkbuster Iron Man's great, 7/7. Although not as powerful as the Hulk, go figure. And Iron Maynard, who again can be suited up, and this guy gets a +1 attack, +1 defense for each other Iron Man type character. So all the different Iron Maynards can be suited up from Iron Man, and each one gives special abilities. Here's another Space Armor Iron Man. Here's a normal War Machine who's just fast. I probably prefer this one because it only costs 3. It's a great one to get on the board. I guess only if you're using Iron Man that you would want to suit up to the War Machine. And then Rhodey, another fast one. And when he KOs someone, you do 2 damage to your opponent. So you can see there's different types of Iron Man. The Hulkbusters here, these are kind of good against the big character dice of your opponents. Like this guy can't be blocked by people who cost 6 or more. And this guy can target an opposing character that costs 6 or more and KO them and then gain 2 life. That's pretty cool. It's pretty powerful. He costs 7. But if your opponent has one of those 7 characters that's really annoying, Hulkbuster Iron Man is the way to take him out. All right, so we have some basic action cards, and I believe there is the most basic action cards in this set that cost 2 than anyone else. There's this one here that is a damage to a character die, which they put in here because of Iron Will, I'm sure. But then we have some upgrades. So here we have one that gives somebody Overcrush, and then you have to kill them at the end of the round. Here you give someone +1 attack, and by the way, each one of these, like this one, if they're a strength die, they're not KO'd. Here, they can't be blocked if they also have the stealth icon on them. Here, for the Unibeam, you get +2 attack, and also if they're an energy character, they get fast, which is really cool. Here you get upgrade fortification. You give someone Iron Will, but if they're not a shield die, you lose a die. This is my least favorite of all the upgrades, but I really like these upgrades because they let you focus on a deck. There's also Cone of Cold, which feels like it was stolen right from D&D, which can do damage to several people. Here you can kill a level 1 or level 2 character die. Here you can KO someone who has suit up and everyone loses 1 life. Very specific action card. This one will hardly ever get used. Here we have one against many. This is one I like a lot, where you do damage to somebody where it's equal to all their character dice +2. And this one forces everyone to attack or else they lose 2 life. So that's kind of an interesting card. The other person can pay life to make you get rid of it, but it's kind of a fascinating, it stops the Cold War type actions that you see in many of these games. I also want to point out that this set comes with some bags. This one is the Iron Man and War Machine, and then we have the picture one, so there's a picture on both of them, Iron Man and War Machine, and then the title of it on each side. Yeah, if anyone even uses these bags. Well, if you don't like Iron Man, you're probably not going to like this set. Yeah, there's an Iron Spidey, and there's War Machine, and, Jarvis and stuff, but there's like 3 or 4 versions of Iron Man. So I guess at this point, you can make a pretty strong Iron Man team. Everyone on the team is Iron Man. You won't have any low-cost characters, so you might bring in Howard Stark, hello, to join people. That's probably not how Howard Stark sounds. So I'm kind of medium on this set. I like it. It's a fine set. It's not like amazing. I like the Iron Will's like, whatever. I do like the suit ups, but again, they're very specific. So you have to okay, I'm going to suit up. So I need a Spider-Man to use Iron Spidey properly to suit up. Having an Iron Man with a couple suits of armor that he can suit up to, that's pretty interesting. Okay, that I like, and that gives you the idea that Iron Man has multiple suits. Although I would bet this is the only set we'll ever see suit up in, but I could be wrong on that, so who knows. War Machine is my favorite character from this set. Although Jarvis is pretty good. I like both of them. I really like half the basic action cards. I like several of the upgrades, and a couple of the other ones. Some of them I won't use or they're too specific. I'm not a big fan of when this game gets very specific, like if this guy is great against an Iron Man character. Are you going to know your opponent's picking that out of the hundreds of different characters to pick at this point? But still, this is pretty solid. If you like these guys at all, you're going to want to get it. If you don't care about these guys but are looking for cards, there's some cool basic action cards and War Machine, if you didn't catch that the first time I said it. So that's Dice Masters, Iron Man, and War Machine. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Yeah?